simple web of life. How many times today, I'm sure if you have been an entrepreneur, if you have thought of an idea, tried to start a company, I hear this from many people. They say, oh, that's the exact idea I had. I was exactly thinking about the same company. I was going to implement it, they implemented it off. Oh my God, this is what I was going to do. Do you think there is some conspiracy there? No. The fundamental fact is our minds are connected. We might think we are separate. We might think I'm from Hyderabad, I am from Uganda, I am from Moscow, I am from Antarctica. But the human mind is the same. Fact is, when thoughts arise, when they become emotions, when they become mental formations, you should remember one thing: what you see alone is not the world that is truly all there. There's much, much there which we don't see. So someone else getting an idea about the company that you wanted to start, it's not a surprise because there's no you and that person. It's a consciousness that weaves us all. It's a web of life. It's a web of life, and today, it's interesting, going back to the conversation with the IBM person, he also was sharing with me, he's deeply into data, and he was sharing that when he closely observed the patterns and really see what human beings are doing, at some point of time, that entire graph, that grid, just looks as one line. So all that people are trying to crack, oh, I need to know more, I need to know more, I need to know more. That more at some point becomes one. You see, oh my God, if I have 300 million customers, if I have 1 billion customers, whatever it is, who are using my app, who are using my cell phone or my coverage, the emotion that is fundamentally ruling 95% of the people is no different. It's the same. It is the same mentality. It's because it is the same mind. There's no your mind, my mind. There's no Spanish sadness. There is no Greek joy. When a Spanish gentleman or a lady is feeling a certain way, if he or she is feeling insecure, it's no different from me or you here in this hall, in the high-tech center, because we are all one. So the consciousness weaves us all. Perceptions, emotions, mental formations, consciousness. And all four are interdependent. They influence each other. Sometimes, dependent on the mental formations, your perceptions might vary. If you have a mental formation is one of no hope, one of absolute pessimism, anything you see, what's the big deal? Another waste, waste of time, waste of time, waste of time, useless, waste of time. So every perception of yours is plagued by a negative mental formation. If it is a positive mental formation, you see everything is going to work. Every person is going to work. I'm going to make a good time, a good legacy on this planet. No matter whoever I work with, I'm going to have a phenomenal relationship with that person. Then the way you see everything will be very, very different. So they're all interdependent. So the entire sense boils down to me and not me. So if we really try to touch upon this feeling of what is happening today, what's going to happen to our future, are the bots going to take over the world? Is AI going to wake up one day and say, hey, you see, here I am, now you're done? Is that going to happen? Where the intelligence would grow and become a person who is evil? All of that sprouts from this feeling of me and not me. And we have always had this, regardless whether it is AI or anything else. What is actually going to happen? But even before I go there, what is actually going to happen? I would love for all of you to halt a little bit and take this in. The reason I'm asking you all to take this in, no matter whatever you're doing, in whichever field you're working in right now, We are a thinking being and we are an acting being. Your actions are directly connected to how you think. So you're going to invest $1 million somewhere, you're going to buy a company, sell a company, you're going to recruit staff, you're going to put out an ad, you're going to make a big decision of buying a new software, whatever you're doing. It all comes from a certain place from where you decide. And it could cost lives, it could cost money, it could cost your own peace of mind, it could cost your own growth of the company, whether it is a small little startup or whether it is a conglomerate, whether it's a massive, massive global company like we heard yesterday from the Googles and the Facebooks. It all boils down to the mind itself. It all boils down to the mind. If you take Elon Musk, people talk about his incredible fearlessness to explore new things. But he even talks about in his blog, what drives him or what doesn't drive him is his own thinking. And what happens to him at a particular point of time. There are times he's ruled by fear. There are times he's ruled by absolute optimism. There are times he doesn't know what he's doing. And there are times he knows what he's doing. And we see this all the time. A big need for culture. And we see this happening today. We see this happening with Travis. Incredible company, Uber, unbelievable. Billions of dollars of evaluation. What a company, what a legacy. And what happens in few years? He's chucked out of the company, he's gone now. He even loses his board rights. And here is Travis, who has created an absolutely outstanding company called Uber. And what he's left with now is these 4 things. Of course, I'm sure he has a big, in terms of a financial part, physical part, he's good. But his mind, it's left with these 4 things. He's thinking about what should I do? It's thinking about what have I done? It's thinking about the people who did it to him. And it's going to always come around. It's not that, okay, once I become successful, it'll be fine. Once I get there, I'll have nothing to worry about. Once I have billions of dollars, I'll have nothing to worry about. And a classic example like Uber or any other company, it always boils down to the minds and the culture. We were seeing recently what's happening in Infosys. And I was having a chat with one of my dear friend who works inside Infosys, and he was also exactly explaining the same thing. It is purely about different minds working with each other. And these minds are clearly experiencing the interplay of these 4 things. People, perceptions, emotions, mental formations, consciousness. So where is this whole connect going to happen? Between circuits and we as a consciousness. Between circuits that knows how things work. Between circuits that in a fraction of a second can tell you how many tables are in this room, how many chairs are in this room, which direction all of you are sitting, and it'll give you an analytics in less than few seconds. And then you have a consciousness that thinks, that emotes, that has a lot of preconceived formations, and that feels. Where are they going to meet? They talk a lot about this singularity. Have you heard about it? The term singularity is a big talk in AI. Some say it's going to happen in 2045. Some say it's going to happen in 2039, whatever. And we don't need to go into that. But this entire experience of singularity, is it going to be a pleasant experience? Is it going to be an unpleasant experience? Absolutely not. What is actually going to happen? At this point of time, we have 3 things. We have our mind. We have a lot of work. We work. And every discussion is around work, how things work, how things don't work, how people work, how companies work, how countries work, how cities work, how software works, everything, how it works, it doesn't work. It works, it doesn't work. And then we have AI. All these 3 things play a big role. Now, in this interdependence, one thing that is happening for sure, because of transformation, because of this entire digital paradigm opening up towards AI, work as it used to be is not going to be there anymore. And we see it already. We see it, machines replacing humans. We see those lifting jobs, moving jobs, even processing jobs, accounting jobs, tons and tons of stuff by the day is going to grow. So a phenomenal amount of human security we had in terms of what keeps me busy from 9 to 5 or 10 to 9, depending on what kind of a work schedule we have, that kind of work schedule might not be there anymore. We can't help it. Is it a good sign or a bad sign? We're going to see that. Because we're so used to it. We're so used to seeing that entire cognitive apparatus. So every bit we do, every kind of feeding we put into the AI is all about it learns and it has the problem-solving capacity. The fundamental definition of AI is it is able to learn and it reaches a point where it is able to solve a problem on its own. So that entire cognitive apparatus as to this is how a table is lifted and kept here, this is how you organize a data sheet, this is how you run a kitchen. I don't know how many of you have seen this robotic hands that cook in a kitchen. It was a very popular blog post that was becoming viral. So all of that is getting offloaded. We might not be doing those stuff anymore. It will be really, really being taken over by AI, by machines. So since that is being taken over, what is actually going to happen to us? I don't know if you heard of Ray Kurzweil. In fact, he's a very well-known futurist. I like this quote a lot. It's going to be absolutely pleasant. As many people think, it's going to be a doomsday. It's going to be something is going to take us over. It's coming from nowhere but our own fear. As I told, it's no different from a fear of a subordinate taking over. It's no different from me losing my argument with my wife or my husband. It's no different between, oh my God, who's going to dominate more, me or my wife? Oh, it's no different between, oh, this son, I grew him up and today he's not listening to me. He tells me what to do, what is right, what is wrong. It's absolutely no different from that fear because it's sprouting from us. And we can always portray it on anything. And today it looks cool to portray it on AI and really put it far out there in the future so that we can brood in it, we can live in it. But as it says here, all we're going to do is get more neocortex. So what are we really talking about? We're talking about an extended arm, which has already been happening. I just want to clarify this last part. I'm almost coming to a closure. The aspect of an intelligence outside us, a cognitive apparatus outside us, has always been there. Has always been there. Even if you take this table and the bottle being on the table, instead of me having to lift the bottle, keeping it on, the table takes care of that bottle so that I don't have to hold it, from a very basic level to a place where a so-called machine runs it all, it's always been there. And it's an extended arm of us. Things we used to do, we won't be doing anymore. Doesn't mean it's going to come and take us over. It is a part of us. And they even talk about it going inside us. You hear about these chips that are going to enter into your brain. It's going to be your extended arm. That's what it's going to be. We're going to be more funnier. We're going to be better. And it's going to exemplify all that we have created, done, experienced as a human being. It's going to be a spectacle of how incredible we are. And that is going to be an extended arm of ours where we and the so-called intelligence of the AI are one, are purely one. And there's absolutely no question of me and not me. Because there's nothing out there that's going to come and eat us up. We always think in terms of there is something out there that's going to come and eat us up. There are going to be billions of them. Where is one single person who's going to come and do it? If something has to happen out there, it's all again going to come from our own mind. If a hack has to happen out there, if someone is going to go and hack it up, where is it coming from? It's all coming from our own mind. I'll just love to play the small video. It's a good friend of mine, Jason Silva. He talks about the same thing, but it's a very nice, pleasant video to hear about what are we looking at.
into our thinking apparatus. There's a great essay written by these cognitive philosophers called David Chalmers and Clark. Cognitive philosophers called the extended mind thesis, which says that things like an iPhone or smartphone are already manifestations and extensions of the mind. And that the mind is actually not limited to the brain, but that the mind exists in the feedback loops between brains, tools, and bodies. So that's why we say thoughts change our spaces and our spaces return to favor. That's why they said that everything we design is designed in essence in return. Marshall McLuhan says, build the tools, build us. So what really exists are feedback loops. Feedback loops of mind. It's not us versus them. It's all one large distributed intelligence that has biological and biological cause. That's why I think it's just billions of baby steps that increasingly extend our human capacity.
So closing notes. Assimilating all this, hearing all this, what is the next paradigm we as human beings? As all this is transitioning, as the so-called machines are onloading a bunch of skills we offload, this is what we are left to do. And this is what we are good at.